Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we are starting to get this economy turned around. And now is the time when I really want to start thinking about getting our broad economic base online. I feel like for that to really happen though, we need to get a lot of places fully integrated, right? We need to incorporate all of these states. And that's a long ways away, to be honest. That's a very long ways away. We can do this construction in some places that are not unincorporated, though. So, if we looked at this at this point, can we see from here whether a state is incorporated or not? I think that icon there indicates that it's unincorporated. This one right here, right? Let's find out. No, this is the livestock ranches. I just want to look at the state. Yeah. So that's an unincorporated state. So with that in mind, let's sort by earnings here. And we can see that Campania is incorporating, but it's not incorporated. So we don't actually see an icon as to whether a state is incorporated or not. That's a little bit awkward for us, to be honest. That said, livestock ranches, not that profitable anyway. So let's continue to look through here. The threshold that we're looking for right now is about 1.0. So let's look through here, incorporating, unincorporated, incorporating, 48% done. Unincorporated, incorporating, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Aleppo. Aleppo would be about the best that we can do there. So let's build one vineyard in Aleppo, and everything below that at this point is below 1K. So let's move on for now. And wheat farms, not very profitable. Banana plantations, not very profitable. Coffee, no. Cotton, no. Dye, no. Opium, surprisingly, no. Silk, no. Sugar, no. Tea, no. But tobacco is fairly profitable in some places. So let's check these. So in Dongola, that's incorporating. Baghdad is incorporated. So let's build here. And that then changed everything to be below 1.0. So that looks fine for now. That's our agriculture sort of being expanded. Very minorly at this point. That's completely understood. But there's not really a point in building an unincorporated location since it's 33% more expensive right now. We should be investing in incorporated locations and also be investing in making more locations incorporated. So that's our current goal. Iron is quite profitable at this moment. So that's incorporating. Palestine, of course, exists. I'm going to queue up one there. Unincorporated. This is incorporated in the Peloponnese. Let's go ahead and build one there. And then in Iran, this is incorporated. We do have one that is not very staffed here. No, this is unincorporated. Hang on, what am I doing? Get rid of that. Okay. What else do we have? Well, we've got Eritrea, which is incorporating. We've got Sinai, which is incorporating. And that's kind of it. Okay, so that's noted. Any issues with lead? No. Sulfur? No. Logging camps, however, this we could potentially expand out. So Palestine is definitely something we can do. And that basically brings everything else down below 1. So we'll come back to that. Fishing wharves. These are not tremendously profitable at this time. Okay, I want to be expanding our base economy. That means agriculture, that means resources, but that also means incorporation. So I want to be building some additional government administrations. Each one of these will generate us 65 bureaucracy. They will cost us money. So I want to kind of alternate, I think. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4 government administrations. And where do we want to build these government administrations? Well, they should absolutely go in a place that is incorporated, which Campania is appearing to be incorporated, but I don't think it actually is. Let's hop down. Actually, let's sort by number here. So we can see we've got 5 in Syria right now. We've got 3 in Hejaz. We've got 3 in Lebanon. We've got 3 in Palestine. Then we've got that 1 over in Campania. And for the moment, I think that basically gives us what we need to know. I want to build 1 in each of these locations at this time. And yeah, they're going to be relatively expensive, but that's okay. So we want to have the government administration be here, and we're just going to sort these kind of like this. Now that's going to buy us additional capacity to be able to expand our incorporation. So let's get that going, and we can see we're definitely spending some money on this, so this is going to take us a while to build. The question is, how far into debt are we willing to go for this, right? Well, these buildings are all going to be fairly quick. This is minus 4%, almost 5% in Lebanon due to Mount Lebanon. Okay. Not anything we can really do about that, so that seems reasonably fine for now. We're looking at expanding cotton plantations in Bulgaria, apparently. Okay. Well, as we can see, our GDP is absolutely starting to improve. We've got our economy relatively turned around. We just need to stay on top of it. And we could think about raising taxes, but I don't think there's actually that much need to do this. We're not doing a law change right now, and I would be interested in potentially pursuing one. Now, we're on per capita taxation. We failed land-based due to just terrible luck. Unfortunate. But what else are we interested in changing here? Well, we're on interventionism right now. I don't think it would be all that useful to go to agrarianism, so I think we'll stick with what we've got here. National supremacy seems reasonably fine, although we have to remember that we're a pretty multi-ethnic state, right? There's no doubt about that. So if we go into our population and then into our charts, we can see, look at this culture. We're only 25% Israeli. So we're quite multi-ethnic. So maybe it's not a bad idea to make our way down to like cultural exclusion, which would be less authority, to be sure, but that's probably okay. And that would be much better acceptance for a lot of our other cultural types, right? So we'd have 40 and 4. This is a pretty good odds. Let's get that going, and that'll be fine. So, it's all looking good there. Our vineyards in Aleppo are going to be finished up in about 3 weeks. Now about 2 weeks. So that's all looking good. And then we'll get that government administration going, and each one of these government administrations is at least going to be pretty close to being able to allow us to do a full integration. So that's going to be a huge, huge deal for us. We're going to be very, very delighted by that, for sure. There's railways unlocked. So that's great. We know that we need a railway in Palestine, specifically. So I'm going to put that in there, and the question is, where in this queue do we want that railway to go? The answer is right up at top, in theory. But this does take a while. 40 weeks to complete this at our current construction rate. Now, our construction is on iron frame buildings, but I'm going to move this down. We're not economically able to expand our construction yet. Let's let that vineyard go. Let's get the government administration done, then build the railway. We barely need the railway, but we will need it when this logging camp, when this iron mine comes in, and when this government administration comes in. So we're definitely going to want to have that. Crystal glass is the next tech spreading. Okay, that's fine. So that seems reasonably okay. Now, as far as our colonization goes, it's slow. We're not in any rush on it either. So for now, that's absolutely okay. So we just finished up that government administration. That's going to, of course, allow us to get another state incorporation going. Algiers is 133. That's pretty expensive. 129.6. 71.9 for Calabria. Let's do it. That seems good. Do we have any other cheap ones? 22.1. Actually, that's pretty good. 36.2. 69.7. 11.7. Yeah, there's definitely some cheap ones in here that we should probably get going. So the expensive ones are going to be rough, no doubt about it, but let's get Israeli-Croatia going at this point. We're already in consideration on cultural exclusion, by the way. That was very rapid, so that's great. So as we get more of these government administrations finished up, we are absolutely going to be looking to generate additional states from that. State incorporation is going to be a very, very big deal for us. We got to get these incorporated. That is single-handedly going to help us significantly. So next up is a banana plantation in Cyprus from the private sector, so that's understood. I'm okay with that. What do you mean you're waiting for funding to become available 3%? You've got 500K in the investment pool. Okay, now they've got 13%. That's a lot of money in the investment pool, though. Okay, well, that's kind of wild. How far in debt do we want to go here, is the question we need to ask. We can afford to go fairly into debt here. And I think we should. I want to be constructing as early as possible, right? So getting these things done quickly is a very, very big deal for us. We're only at minus 7K as well, which is not too bad. Again, we could boost our taxes up. I don't want the legitimacy hit, so I would prefer not to do this yet. I don't suppose we have a cheap consumption tax. No, we just have standard ones. So that's absolutely noted. Our authority is drifting upwards, though, so that's noted. We've got a steel shortage. Interesting. What's the status of our steel mill? Yeah, it can expand. It's mostly just like, yeah, I need more iron, and fair enough. Fair enough. The issue is iron, the issue is not steel. So we advanced here, that's fine. Actually, we'll take loyalist population. Absolutely. Loyalists would be great. We'll get going on that. And our railway in Palestine is about 20 weeks away from completion at this point. So that's noted. We are going to want to start having transportation here, right? We can start doing rail transportation on all of these, but we don't really have the capacity in any of these locations. This is going to just absolutely spike the cost of transportation, and for the moment, we're not in a position where we can do that. Eventually, we're going to want to get a railway built in all of our states, at least one level, but for now, this is going to have to do. We're going to have to do this piecemeal. Our economy is just not strong enough to absorb that. So for the moment, this is fine. I'm completely okay with what we've got going on here. We're definitely going into debt, and that's fine. The investment pool is up to 700K. They've got those bananas going. That's interesting. That investment pool is building fast. I wonder what they're going to build with it. Under normal circumstances, I would be making the argument that because the investment pool is growing while constructing like this, that means that we need to expand our construction sector. Unfortunately, we can't really afford, on the government side, to expand our construction sectors. I'd love to do it. But we need to increase our economy base a little bit more first. So our railway in Palestine is 9 weeks away from being built. Once that's done, we're going to start seeing things like those tobacco plantations in Baghdad get built. That's going to be very useful for us. Wow, we're already on adoption on this. Okay, we're rolling well on that. I like it. Yes, I'm always going to do that. I'm very used to, at this point in recording, from Tlatuani, right-click panning. I don't know why, but that's... Every other game is middle-click pan, but... I get used to it. I get used to it way too quickly. So we're about to finish the railway at this point. That's 4 weeks away from conclusion, and that is, of course, going to be very useful for us. Now, we're currently working on a vineyard in Aleppo, and that seems wonderful. But we got to get this railway done. That is absolutely mission number 1. So then the tobacco plantation is going to be started, and that's going to take much less long. The real question is, when do we want to stop construction? Well, as of right now, we've built up very little interest. 460 is not too bad, and we still have the penalty from declaring bankruptcy, keep in mind. So we've still got a 13% increase to our loan interest rate. Now, it's getting a lot better. There's no doubt about that. I'm actually shocked that the AI hasn't attacked us. That's kind of wild, but I'll accept it. Okay, we got an advance here again. 15% enactment success chance or popularity for this guy. Interesting. I'll take the enactment success chance for now. That guy popularity is probably not all that useful for us, but our GDP is about to crack 8 million. Keep in mind, our current peak right at the beginning of the game when we first imported and discovered all the problems was 8.12 million. So it's definitely taken us a while to get this economy back on track, and I am noting our dwindling number of convoys. We will have to do something about that eventually. But for now, the tobacco plantation in Baghdad is about to finish, which will start generating us additional money, which is, of course, fantastic. And I'm also interested in hopefully seeing some of this privatize. But that hasn't really been happening. I'm assuming privatization is allowed. All of these are currently privatized. Opium plantations are not allowed to be privatized yet. Okay, Thais is damaging relations. They're currently belligerent towards us. That is noted. But I'm just checking through to make sure that all of these can be privatized. Yeah, we should be forced to because we have the bankruptcy malice. So that's absolutely fine. Our government administration is about to be finished up now. And there it is. Now we're working on our iron mine in Palestine. And over here, I specifically want to come in here and I want to change only Palestine to have rail transportation at this time. So that's going to start... Okay, there's cultural exclusion coming through. Perfect. That's going to really spike the price of transportation here. This is going to be a bit of a shock to our iron mines for the moment. But because the price is going to spike here, this should mean that railways are going to be productive enough for now. But we've got that shortage of engines, and that's not necessary... Wait, was that? Hang on. What's going on over here? Ukraine is attacking Maghreb. Okay. So that's not great for us. What is our... We have a diplomatic treaty with them, don't we? Defensive Pact and Alliance. So I would expect that we're expected to join this. So we do have a border with Ukraine up over here. The real question is Portugal going to join this? Because they might. We did see that Portuguese Iberia Company has joined in here. Now, they're not very strong, but that might be indicative that Portugal joins. If Portugal joins, we absolutely want to hop in on that, I think. Well, actually, Portugal only has 14 and 56. Ukraine has 152. Well, 115 plus 25. That's very significant. Ukraine is the #1 power in the world. So is Portugal going to dive into this? I really don't want Ukraine to have this territory. They're trying to make Maghreb into their protectorate, specifically. Portugal is 28% mobilized. They might be planning to join this. Interesting. So obviously we've got this engine shortage at this moment, and that of course is due to our issues here in Israeli Blue Nile. What we need here, more than anything, is workers and steel coming in over here at a reasonable speed. But we need to get integrations done. Integrations are going to be a very big deal. We do have iron mines being built right now. We might have to sit this out and allow Ukraine a foothold over here. I really don't want to do that, but if we join this, bad things happen. I'm quite certain of this. Portugal has to join this for there to be any amount of a chance, right? If Portugal joins it, we join. But if Portugal doesn't join, and it's looking like they're not going to, then we can't. Portugal just declared neutrality. We can't take Ukraine. Sorry, Maghreb. That was rough. No doubt about it. I'm surprised that Ukraine decided to attack all the way out over here, to be honest. There's not much we could do about it, though. We really can't take on Ukraine at this time. So we just need to continue to grow our economy at this point. That is our top priority. I'm not concerned about our debt right now. We just went to 55 construction. What's going on with that? Ah, I see. We have a lot of building levels here. So increasing our iron production is going to increase our construction considerably. And that is not necessarily great for our finances, but it is good for getting things done quickly. So let's continue to expand our economy for the moment. We're up to 8.5 million. This is the highest GDP we've ever had in the game at this point. We have now crossed our starting GDP. So that's huge. And we're still plus on our balance, excluding temporary income and expenses. So that's a very good sign. We're short on steel, but we are about to get 2 new sets of iron mines here. And I want to check in on how our iron mine is doing here with that additional transportation. Transportation is still expensive here in Palestine, and that is absolutely understood. But they're doing well with it, even in this current situation. Or well-ish. They're doing well-ish. So, what is the core problem with the transportation production? Well, we could go to wooden passenger carriages. That would actually help matters a fair amount. We can afford the wood. So I'm going to do that. That seems good. That'll help us produce additional transportation. But a real issue here is that lack of engines. We're the #2 producer worldwide of engines. We've got 700 people working on it. Okay, not very many people doing that. So I want to check in over here in Damascus. Our steel is... We have a lot more steel production that we can do. Okay. The motor industry over here, it's just not well placed. That's what it comes down to. I'm going to build a motor industry over in this area. Let's sort by peasant count. And let's see. We've got Syria. Done. We'll put that into Syria. And the question is that at the bottom? Well, I mean, it is. But do we want it at the bottom? No. I'm going to move that to the top. So we're going to move that right on up. And this government administration is going to be done in 3 weeks. We do have a lot of bureaucracy at this moment, though, and I want to start working on some state incorporations. So I'm going to go down to the bottom here, and we're going to look for any that are, like, below 40 or 50. Sardinia is a good one. Israeli Sahara. Israeli Romagna. Israeli Piedmont is a little up there. Outer Hausaland. Iran, Niger, Malta, Libyan Desert. Lombardy is pretty expensive, as is Lazio. Okay, so we've got, like, Dalmatia. We can do something like that. That'll get a bunch of these integrating. And we've still got 2 more government administrations that are going to come through here. So that looks good. I'm very, very upset about what's going on over here, to be clear. I'm not happy about Ukraine doing this, but there's nothing we can do about it at this time. We just need to solve other problems first. So we're 29 weeks away from those motor industries being finished, and we're running quite a bit of debt at this moment. We just need to keep an eye on that and make sure that it's not going to be too much debt, right? So that seems fine for now. We're working on expanding the iron mine in the Peloponnese and working on expanding the iron mine in the Peloponnese, so there's that. Al Said wants a defensive pact. and is giving us building rights. I'll accept it. So Al Said is these guys down over here. They are 7 plus 7, so they're not terribly strong, but we'll accept it for right now. Okay, so that motor industry in Syria is our major issue at this point. We have that engine shortage, and that will also drive up the price of steel for this steel mill, which will be good. But we can see that we do need more iron production and more coal production. Checking in over here, what is the current status of the iron in Palestine? So we can see that this is net negative at this point. Tools, coal, and transportation is all quite expensive. Okay. In Lebanon, I'm going to build a coal mine. And then we're also potentially interested in expanding our tooling workshop in Palestine or just in this area in general. So let's see, what do we got? Yeah, it's pretty much going to be Palestine. So I'm just going to do that. So at this point, the coal mine in Lebanon is a relatively high priority, as is this government administration. Everything here is honestly a pretty high priority. So the question is order. Perhaps something like this. I don't know. It's going to be a little spicy, no matter how we slice it. Well, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we will see what we can do. Oh, Ukraine was swayed to the side of Thrace. Interesting. Well, that's not all that relevant for us right now. We need to get our economy way, way stronger. That's for sure. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.